What is consciousness? Consciousness in this, it can mean a lot of things. In this context, it is the I am, what you would think of as consciousness, the subjective awareness that you're experiencing right now. It is also the this is, this situation. So that might seem kind of funny from a Western perspective to say that consciousness includes this situation. It's just a manner of speaking, because how would this situation be occurring if there was no consciousness of it? If a tree falls in the forest, it may happen, but we're not talking about it. So in anything that we could possibly be talking about, there is at least these two dimensions, and these are each at a stage. They're at a stage themselves. The root component of reality is a unity consciousness, which is this experience, this. This is I am. This is a certain fact. Reality cannot be reduced further than this, but I've expressed it two ways. So now we've sliced reality in half and said that half of reality is this I am thing that's happening, literally my subjective conscious awareness. That's called consciousness. Also, the objective reality, the body brain that is generating my thoughts as content, as data, that is also this situation is, this is also irreducibly true. And the unity nature of consciousness is to say that those are actually one thing. Those are the most fundamental, irreducible fact of reality that our mind splits off into two. So now we have hemispheres. We have the subjective, the objective, and both of them are simultaneously going through these levels because there is no real split, right? And then up and down dimension, we could say, just to grid it out, there's an individual, me, and there's a collective, my culture, my society, interior, exterior. So this is the 4 quadrants. And all of these stages, the reason I'm saying this is that these stages apply to all 4 of those dimensions. These are stages of my self-development. These are stages of my culture's development, the intersubjective space that I share with you, let's say, for example, one group that I'm communicating with. It is also the stages of my society itself, determining what technology we have and what we can do, what we're capable of as a group, as a global group, or whatever group we believe ourselves to be. And it is also quite simply just the simple factual structures of reality itself. If all 4 of those things are not considered to be happening within this unity state of consciousness, we're missing something, we're forgetting something. So we have to have all 4 of those as points of awareness to always check in with, and to realize that as we're talking about these stages of development, the reason why they're so significant is that they are emerging not only on the one level that you're thinking of and understanding at this moment, but they're happening on at least those 4 dimensions. So that's why this takes so much unpacking. Consciousness is a multidimensional fact, and this is unpacked in the quadrants. So consciousness is not really reducible unless you simply want to say unity, non-dual awareness, the prior to time, all that is, infinite. That is the fact of the matter, that this is, that I am, all at once, this is happening. Okay, but that's not really philosophically useful, and why would it be? It's just the backdrop, it's outer space that we rest upon. This is, I am, this is happening. Okay, we also can't deny the existence of that context, because my consciousness cannot be here without a culture that has taught me how to order consciousness. And this is kind of foreign to our eyes as well. What did you do when they forced you to go to school for 12 years? What were you up to? That was society teaching you consciousness. They were teaching you a stage of consciousness that would be compatible with this world. And maybe you didn't go to school, and maybe you're just fine. You didn't learn what society thinks you need to learn in order to participate. Fine, so society's got a problem. The point is, your parents teach you how to not poop your pants. You go up a stage. Now you're at the pants pooping stage. You can talk, you can walk, you can crawl. And then blah, blah, blah. Schools, they teach you how to love, all that, blah, 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 blah. You learn family. Then you go into the school system, they teach you how to be a person in society with responsibilities. By the end of all that mess, you should even be able to get a job and fend for yourself and pay rent. Terrific. So the problem is that we cannot deny that a human being, Homo sapiens, such as myself, such as any old baby, we can't abstract that away from the fact that it has been taught in the Western tradition, in my case, the English language, that these are the context in which I am occurring, and you can't abstract me away from that. It is part of my bones. It's in my DNA, and literally my DNA is in my DNA. So there are certain parts of me which have nothing to do with my brain generating a me willpower thing. There are parts of me which are determined by my physical body, the environmental context which I come from. All of that interacts to create what I'm calling consciousness here, the unity state of consciousness, which is always the thing that is occurring right now, which is always a perspective from which we are. That is what consciousness is. It's more complicated and in a way different from what you might be used to. So consciousness is the core reality, the fundamental reality of what is occurring. It is one hand clapping. It is an experience unto itself, which we have interpreted. We've interpreted this unity state, this unity experience into my subjective experience of an objective reality in which you and I are having an intersubjective conversation. And so since I've divided the unity state into those categories, since we do think of things that way by habit, we must always acknowledge that we are doing this and that certain aspects of reality are going to overlap those perspectives, such as stages of consciousness. The memes are not just memes that apply to interiors, they apply equally to exteriors and to not just individuals, but also to groups. And this is somewhat of an important point because looking at a model like this, you may be thinking this is like a nebulous pseudoscience thing. There's no science about it. This is like social sciences, psychology, systems theory stuff. So this isn't, I'm not saying that your body is physically vibrating some unknown medium and this is how you raise your vibration. It is analogically like that. And if you want to think of reality that way, that is compatible with this model. Yes. However, that is not my claim. That is not what we're saying with this model. What we're saying is that these are stages of consciousness which emerge in individuals, in groups, in social and cultural contexts, and in the physical world. So that may be stages of me, that may be stages of the internet, that may be stages of my society. This could be stages of a lot of things, and we want to keep in mind the synchronicity of these 4 dimensions of reality and not get confused about what we are calling the nature of consciousness. This theory is to suggest an alternative to the way that we think about consciousness. As you may realize, our comprehension of consciousness is somewhat problematic. Basically, as scientists, we don't believe in consciousness, and yet as individuals, we are experiencing this. But it doesn't really make sense that I am this one in here experiencing this moment. That has no meaning from a scientific, rational worldview. So we're stuck in this predicament. Obviously, that is answering certain types of questions. But the answer to that question, the nature of consciousness, the most fundamental, irreducible fact of reality, is not going to be found in the sciences of the material world. It is found here in consciousness itself, in this present experience, which is to say that the most fundamental fact about reality, it isn't the littlest thing, it isn't the most universal force or something like that. It is what is at the base of what is always happening. Consciousness. If there is consideration of a thing, it is consciousness reflecting upon a world with the training of a group, a society. That is all that there is.